This is my first interview in the group, and I plan on doing it every week. And today I've got my friend Heidi here, Anspaugh, and a little bit about, she and I met in a group. We met in a group, and then actually met live in San Diego, because the group actually had an event down in San Diego, and everyone there was building a Facebook group. So, and she lives in my town. So this is kind of interesting all around. And what I love about Heidi is that she is an expert in writing copy, and we'll get into what that means. But, right now, everyone who's in this group, our strategy is to build our business using Facebook groups. But there's so many different strategies to build your business online. And we've decided here in the group just to go in to build it through a group. But what the thread among all the strategies is copywriting, is getting the message out. And so Heidi, over the last, you'll tell us your story, but has become like a master in telling a story that evokes emotion to compel people to buy. And that is such a gift. I mean, we all struggle with that. And you're going to have to tell us, we would love to hear about your journey of how you went from your entrepreneur, because you actually were you were a community manager, right? For gaming, the gaming industry. Is that where it all started?
I wouldn't say it started there, but I did that in like the actually late 2000s. I'd had like that job kind of off and on. But yeah, that was one of the last jobs I had before I left the kind of mainstream work world. And before I became a copywriter, I had a digital agency. So that was really my first entrepreneurial journey. It seems like a lot of people start with a digital agency because I don't know, a lot of people have marketing skills. It seems like the obvious or easy way to go. I don't think it is easy unless you have a really niche audience, or like one type of person you serve, or you have a really strong sales pipeline. It's hard to keep enough work coming in. And it was just myself and my husband running it. And we, worked with some contractors, but we just kind of got burnt out, and so we were tired of scrambling to find clients. It just felt unstable. We had a son, so that was also a factor, because like both of our income was tied up in that, which was too scary. So my husband went back to what he was doing before, which was massage therapy, and I decided to niche down further with my skills, because even in that agency, I mostly worked on content. I did a lot of writing. I did a lot of like social media strategy for clients. So I was like, well, writing is really my superpower. And I discovered ClickFunnels, and I was in that world, and I saw that there was a real need for people who were building funnels to have really great copy, because without good sales copy, their funnels were not going to convert. They might be dead in the water without the right messaging strategy. They weren't going to get it in front of anybody. They weren't going to make sales. So I just started doing that. And now it's a year later, and I have a Facebook group where I, teach copywriting hacks and general funnel monetization strategies. And that's kind of what I'm doing now.
That's fantastic. So copywriting, let's talk about copywriting, because, it's a word that's can be very what in the world does that entail? So of break it down for the audience here, who are basically, they're all coaches, most people in the group. They're coaches either in health and wellness, spiritual coaches, they are financial coaches, some of them are stylists, consultants. And so they have a particular, skill set and expertise, but I want them to know why they need the power of a copywriter, what that means, getting your message out on the internet, because, I think people don't get how important it is, right?
Yes, I think that's true. They don't get it until they're like, why is nobody buying from me? What's wrong?
Right.
Why is my copy not converting? Yeah.
So copy means what? The word copy.
Well, that's an interesting question because it's kind of it's very outdated. The word copy, I think, comes from the '60s when people would actually make, photocopies of a document, and you had that like black piece of paper and like that the whole print process, and so it was like literally making a copy of some writing. So copy comes from that, but what it means today is just all the words that go on a page, and whether that's your funnel, your website, um, what goes into your emails. Most people who use funnels to sell their business or even just a website need copy for very specific things. Their sales page, their follow-up email sequences, if they get somebody to join their list or like opt into the funnel, they need some sort of follow-up. Facebook ads, if they want to drive people to their site that way with paid ads. So I write that copy as well. I write lead magnets. So I've written like entire ebooks for people or ghost written ebooks with somebody. Actually, I just launched a full print book for Colton Crottinger, who's a 2 Comma Club winner. He found me in the Funnel Rolodex. So that was like kind of a highlight of this past year. That's a book that's in print now.
Explain that to people. I don't think people know what the 2 Comma Club is.
Okay. Yeah, I sometimes forget like which audience I'm talking to because a lot of people I know through the ClickFunnels world. ClickFunnels is just a marketing platform that allows you to build a sales funnel. It's not really a website. It's much more simple than that. A funnel it just has one purpose, which is to get somebody to buy your offer. There's no bells and whistles and distractions. People can't click off and go read a blog or like read your about me section. It's all kind of like one page. Maybe there's like a free opt-in offer to get people in there, but it's much more simple than a website. So and a lot of people I work with use ClickFunnels to create these funnels. And I kind of lost track of
so what we were talking about. He actually made a ton of money on teaching other people how to use ClickFunnels. Is that how he did?
Well, not exactly. So the 2 Comma Club Award is given out to anyone who makes at least $1 million in revenue through a funnel. So that might not be their profit, but they've at least had that much revenue come through. People do it in all sorts of ways. Colton did it actually through a marketing agency. And I still I'm dying to ask him how, because that seems really difficult. Yeah. But yeah, he's also like a top ClickFunnels affiliate because he had this course he was trying to sell called Broke Ass Entrepreneurs, and is how to help people like launch their online businesses. But the problem was right in the title. He was trying to sell this $1,000 course to people who were broke, who maybe hadn't launched their online businesses yet or hadn't reached success. So he changed his tactic. He started giving it away for free instead. But people still had to come through a funnel and give their email address to get it. And then on the last page, he had some kind of ad for ClickFunnels, like, hey, do you want to build a course like this one and, sign up for a ClickFunnels account? So he got all these people signing up for accounts under him, which got him to Dream Car winner status. So ClickFunnels is all these cool awards and things for people who are affiliates. So like if you get 100 people to sign up for ClickFunnels account under you, then you qualify. And for the Dream Car Award, which means that ClickFunnels will send you $500 a month to go towards a new car lease. And they have like a list of cars you can get. There's like BMWs, Teslas, Porsches, all these nice cars, and they will just pay that. So, and then you get commission on top of that for however many accounts you have under you. It's pretty great.
So you created a lead magnet for him, which was an ebook, right?
Well, the ebook didn't end up being the lead magnet, actually. He's selling it as part of a course, and it's a course about anxiety hacking, like conquering your anxiety, because he was in the Navy. He had severe PTSD. He came out of the Navy. I mean, his story is really inspiring. Was homeless for a year, would like wake up in ambulances because he'd had a panic attack somewhere like that was really severe.
Wow.
Lived under somebody's bed for an entire year. I mean, it was like a loft bed, so it's not as weird as it sounds, but like couldn't leave the house, just had all these problems. And he finally decided, I'm going to solve this thing. His kind of stance is that doctors and medication aren't what's going to do it. That might like put a Band-Aid on, but really you have to kind of like conquer it in your own head. So the book is about how to do that. And it's wrapped in with a course that he created, and he's got a huge Facebook group to support it. So you get the book as part of that. You get like this whole kit, and I think it's $1,000, or no, I think it's $500 for the whole thing. But yeah, it's great. I mean, he's helping people and saving lives. So
you interviewed him, so you were able to kind of put the book together for him. Is that what you did?
Yeah, we spoke on the phone a couple times, but he actually had something he'd already written on this topic, but it was much shorter. And so we needed to expand it. I think the final book ended up being almost 200 pages, but he also had this other book that somebody else had written on the same topic that he had bought the rights to. And so my job was to kind of like Frankenstein the two together.
Wow.
But make it really sound like it was in Colton's voice. And because the other book was written by somebody who's British, he used much different language. He used a lot of run-on sentences. His style was much more, I don't know, kind of pedantic, and Colton is much more like empathetic and conversational. So there was really a lot of work to do to get that book sounding cohesive. So
what do you think for business owners just starting out? They realize that they've got to market online. What kind of, what do they need to learn regarding copywriting? Should they start with learning how to set up emails? Because a lot of people do have the lead magnet and it's going to an autoresponder, but I don't think they've got an email sequence to nurture people. Do you think that is the focus for people to go first? Or do you think it's more, I don't know, post?
Well, yeah, I mean,
what's your feeling?
Even to get people to come in and get the lead magnet, they'd have to have compelling copy there.
Yeah.
But not everybody needs help with that, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. So maybe they don't need my help there, or coaching there. But I would say the next thing would be a good nurture email sequence or a welcome sequence, so that you don't just have people come in, grab your freebie and leave. You want to keep them in your funnel, have them build a relationship with you. And that's where you could do a lot of different styles of email sequences. Like there's a soap opera sequence, which is something that Russell Brunson teaches, which is like high drama, and you're really sharing your whole like epiphany bridge story, like what led you to create the thing you created. Like maybe you hit rock bottom in your life professionally or personally, and you were looking for a way out. You had an epiphany. You hit the wall, then you had an epiphany. You created a solution for yourself, and now that's what you're selling to other people, so you can help them get out of the same, bottom. And then you share your transformation. So you can do all that in an email sequence, and that's pretty powerful. Or you can just like provide
how
value.
long is a sequence like that? How many emails is that about?
That one's a 5 email sequence, and that's usually what I create for people. It could be longer, you could do like a 5 to 10 sequence.
Now, at the end, is there an offer?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point with a sequence, is to have it lead up to an offer. Like with a welcome email sequence, you could start with telling about your story, sharing who you are, providing some value, like maybe giving a few more things for free, or just sharing like a really instructional blog post that has helped people in the past, or like a video training. So definitely give lots more value, give more of your expertise away for free. And then kind of in the last 2 emails, you might, like number 4 might be a soft pitch for something. And then number 5 might be like a harder pitch with like a call to action, or, a scarcity message like, hey, I have this, if you want to learn more about this, I have this mini course, but I only have 5 spots available this month, grab it now, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Really nurture. And what people don't realize, even though the open rate on email has dropped over the years, it still is the only thing that people really own, because they don't own, right? You want to talk about that? as far as why people need an email autoresponder and an email, start building a list. That's kind of important.
Yeah, it's very important. And, you know, you see people saying that email is dead, but that's just not true. I mean, look at your inbox. That'll, most of us have just thousands of unread emails, especially if we've signed up for lists ourselves. So it's definitely not true. It's still a powerful way to reach people. And it's true, like if something happened to Facebook, if we lost our Facebook group or something, you know, we don't want our businesses to be dead in the water. So you don't want to depend on any one platform. Like I get a lot of clients through LinkedIn. I get a lot of work through Facebook. But if I don't have those people's email addresses, how can I find them again? Or, you know, how can they find me? Or how can I stay top of mind? So whatever your business is, but I think especially if you're a coach or consultant, you absolutely must have an email list. Because one thing I like to do if I need new clients, sometimes I'll just reach out to old clients and just kind of check in, be like, hey, how's it going? Just in case you were aware, if you needed some help, like here's a few offers I have going on right now, or, you know, it might not even be that formal, might just be a check-in, like, hey, remember that time we worked together? That was awesome. Do you need any more copy work done? You know, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, you know, it is, yeah. Despite that, you know, people are less likely to open, which is okay. But I've also heard, you know, send emails to people that have not opened after a couple of days. It increases the open rate. But
absolutely, the fortune is in the follow-up. I just did a whole master class on this, by the way, so that's great because this stuff is all fresh, top of mind. But it was on email copywriting and marketing. And yeah, I talked a lot about this. So like, because I find that people might read my first email, they might open it and read it, but then they get busy, they get distracted, and they might even have thought, oh, I need to get back to Heidi. Like I would be interested in working with her. So the next time you pop up in their email inbox, they're more likely to respond to the second or third email. And it's part of it is just our ingrained politeness. You know, if like they kind of know me and like me, they're like, oh, I got to write her back. I don't want to be rude. You know, people still feel compelled to be polite. So that works in your favor. But also they just might need a couple reminders because everybody's inboxes are so crowded. The marketplace is so noisy. There's so much competition. So showing up, you know, enough times is usually the trick.
Right.
Getting hired.
And actually, listen, who's ever listening to this, either live or replay, if you have not taken a email marketing course, Heidi has an incredible masterclass on it, where she goes over the different types of email, sequences. You want to talk a little bit about this masterclass? Because, I mean, I've taken, you know, email is really, really, really important.
Yes, it really is. So the first part of my class is just about email copywriting. So like I have important rules to follow, like subject line matters a lot. We all know that, but I kind of dig into that more. You need to write about them, not you. You know, the first line is the most important of your email because even if they open your email, if you don't hook them in that first line, they're not going to read the whole thing. You need to put the link throughout the email for that same reason. Like you can't just bet that people are going to read all the way to the end. So lots of tips like that. And then I go into the different types of email sequences. So like welcome sequence, nurture sequence, soap opera sequence, the daily Seinfeld sequence, which is another Russell Brunson thing, like a product pre-launch sequence. So explain those. And then I also talk about cold pitch emails because and that might be really relevant to your audience because as a service provider and copywriter, I need to constantly be prospecting for clients. And so I reach out to people who don't necessarily know me all the time, like on LinkedIn. You can use LinkedIn Sales Navigator to set, you know, your criteria for who you want to work with, but then you still have to like do the work of connecting with them, sending them a message, sending a follow-up message. So I get a lot of work that way too. But cold email is a bit different from like emails to your list, people who already know you, people who are warm leads, because it's even more important to like grab their attention right away.
Right.
I use this formula I learned from a copywriter and like former agency owner as well named John Bookin. He calls it the charm offensive method. And it's basically just like kind of some charm and humor, like, so definitely don't be afraid to be humorous, even in a professional email, plus self-deprecation. The self-deprecation is not about you and your skills. It's kind of like, you're kind of alluding to the fact that you're a stranger intruding into their inbox, and you kind of joke about that a little bit. And then a show of expertise. So there might be like 2 really short paragraphs about you and your, skill set, and then maybe some social proof, like throw in a quick screenshot or testimonial about you. And that combination, like anytime I send out a cold pitch email, I always get work from it. If I send it out to enough people and I'm doing it consistently, like, this method just always makes me money. So
great.
Yeah. So I go over that in the class too. And then there's like a little bit at the end about how to avoid the spam filter.
Yeah.
Because, none of this stuff's going to matter if you just go straight to somebody's spam, or you're always in their Gmail promotions tab. So yeah, it's a great class if anyone's interested.
Yeah, leave, if anyone who's listening on, even with the replay, okay, if you're interested in Heidi's masterclass, just write masterclass in the comments, and I'll send over through Messenger her link to this masterclass, because that's an evergreen, right? At this point, is it running?
Yeah.
Is it running?
Yeah, so I did it live I created a special Facebook group for it. But anyone and I did that on, when was that? Tuesday this week. But anyone who buys now will just get access to the group, and they can watch the video there, and they can ask questions and access my slides. Another thing I forgot to mention, I ended up partnering with somebody else from Tribe of Buyers. I don't know if you met Miro Hayink.
Yes, I didn't meet him.
Yes, great guy. He's a success coach. He deals a lot with mindset, and he calls his method like heart-centered sales. So I had him come at the end, and because he's kind of the perfect follow-on to like selling through a great email strategy, because he talked about how to close people on the phone and how to do it in a way that feels natural and authentic and not pushy and not salesy. And, he talks about mindset. So there's like kind of an extra bonus in that class from him.
That's always great. How to close people. I mean, we don't hear it enough, right?
Yeah.
And I think also the whole closing strategy is changing. It's not so pushy and rough anymore. It's much more nurturing. It's much more, really listening to people and really getting where they're at and then moving them forward. The other thing I wanted to so you guys, again, if you're interested in her masterclass, just put masterclass in the comments and we'll send over the link for you to check that out. And the other thing, Heidi, I wanted to ask you is, I know that you are growing a Facebook group. I wanted you to share the power of a Facebook group as a business owner. Like, what has happened to your business having your own Facebook group?
Oh, absolutely. It's so powerful. First of all, you're just building a tribe kind of around you and whatever your topic of expertise is, or whatever you don't even have to be like a full-fledged expert in the thing that you're talking about in your group, just so long as you're like a few steps ahead of people coming in and you're sharing what you are learning and documenting your journey. So my group isn't just about copywriting. It's called Funnel Monetization Secrets. So I realized that like in the ClickFunnels world, where I can really help is to get people to sell their offers more or better through great sales copy, but also through community building. So for me, that's the Facebook group. I'm a former community manager, so I understand this, but Facebook is also its own thing, and I've had to learn, best practices. That's why I'm in the group growth and monetization blueprint course with you. That's why I went to Tribe of Buyers, because they're really experts specifically for Facebook groups. But I really hadn't monetized my group much until Tribe of Buyers. I started it to support the One Funnel Way Challenge, which is another ClickFunnels thing. I was coaching people through that. So I was making some money through affiliate sales, but it really wasn't taking off. There were a lot of people already doing that. And I was getting burnt out, and I realized, well, I need to niche down now on what my superpowers are and how I can really serve people. So I started teaching more about copywriting.
Yeah.
Obviously that's like my area, and people were coming to my group to learn that and telling me they wanted to learn. And, that was kind of a mindset shift for me, because before that I'd been thinking, well, I don't know if I can really teach this. It's kind of like, you either have writing skills or you don't, but that's not completely true, because anyone who's a business owner or entrepreneur needs to be able to figure out what their own messaging is. And even if they don't write it down in the most elegant way possible, there are at least templates and kind of standard ways to do it that they can follow.
Right.
And they can get better and better themselves. So that's what I started teaching. After Tribe of Buyers, I launched my first masterclass, and that was the first thing that I created that I offered for my group, and people bought it. I just did this second email masterclass and people bought that. I launched a 30-day Medium publishing challenge because I decided, blogging is one of my main publishing platforms. I also follow like Russell's teachings in the One Funnel Away challenge, which are that you should publish every day. If you publish every day for 365 days, your income will not stay the same. And I completely believe that.
So repeat that.
Yeah. If you publish every day for 365 days, just commit to it.
Posting, right? Posting.
Well, it could be Facebook Lives, do a daily live. It could be Instagram stories. It could be YouTube videos. It could be a podcast. It could be blogs. I kind of do a combination of things because I know I'm not going to write a blog every single day. I'm not going to go live every single day, but I do a combination of all these. And I think it mostly nets out to every day.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you want to get out there. You want to I use Medium for blogging. People can find my blogs. I write about copywriting, but I write about a lot of other stuff too, just things that are personally interesting. So that's why I did the 30-day live Medium publishing challenge for my group, because you can also earn money on Medium through your blogs. There are people making $1,500, $10K a month on there. I mean, those are people with huge followings, obviously, but that's something you could certainly work up to. So yeah, I came back from Tribe of Buyers. I was on fire. I was like, I'm going to follow Andrew's monetization model, or I think he calls it the maximization model. So that was enlightening to me to like see how a value ladder, which is something I understood already from the ClickFunnels world, like how you create a value ladder for your business, which just means like maybe you start with a low ticket offer, or you start doing something for free, then you have a low ticket offer, then you have like a medium offer, then you go into like a mastermind or a coaching program or something high ticket. So for the Facebook group model, he suggested starting with master classes, like paid class. And it works because you've probably already been doing a lot of free trainings in your group by that point. By the time you launch a paid class, you've probably already been giving lots of value for free. You've been showing up every day. You've been sharing your expertise. You've been bringing in experts. So by the time you offer something that's paid, and usually it's between like $27 and $97. My first class I did for $37. Then people want to give you money.
How many people showed up or bought it? Can we ask?
Yeah, I think I had about 12 for that first one.
Perfect.
And then like a few more after. And
yeah,
I mean, my goal was 10, honestly. So I was happy to get that.
And you did the masterclass right in the group?
No, because
another group, or what did you do?
Yeah, I had to create another group because if I did it in my group, anyone who didn't pay would be able to access. So and I created a private group. I was kind of debating how to do it. Like you could just use Zoom and have everyone join your webinar, but then you have to pay like some kind of high monthly to do the Zoom webinar program. And I just asked around to see how other people were doing it. And they're like, yeah, I just created a private Facebook group, and that way I can keep adding people in. People can come in at any time and ask questions. And that's kind of like, it's not like, I'm not trying to post in there as often as my other group. Like I do some follow-up, but mostly it's just created as a place to deliver the class and then have a place where people can ask for follow-up, ask any follow-up questions.
You did the masterclass live as a Facebook Live in a group.
Yep. I use StreamYard. Yeah.
Okay, good.
But you could use Zoom.
And were you sharing your screen too?
Yeah, so I had a whole slide deck, and then I just talked through it, and people were able to ask questions live. So I think that's the benefit of attending live, although you certainly don't have to, but just to get your questions answered in real time.
Yep.
I've bought many classes where I just watch the replay, and then, then it's just on you to follow up if you have questions. So
right.
Kind of the only difference, really.
So fantastic. And what do you think is different between a masterclass and a webinar?
I mean, I think they're really the same thing. I think webinars, the way we understand them is it's all a lead up to a bigger offer at the end.
Yeah.
Which I don't really do that in my masterclass. I mean, I might mention, oh, I'm working on this beta coaching program. If anyone's interested, you can DM me. But it's not, the point is not a big push for something else. It's just, I'm literally just teaching something and people are paying to learn, and
Right.
that's what they're getting.
Right. Great. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. I think we're going to wrap up. This has been extraordinary. Again, if you're interested in Heidi's masterclass on email marketing, which I highly recommend if you have not taken a class on email marketing in the last year, this is something to definitely, you want to take on. And the class is, how many hours of how long is the master class, Heidi?
We ended up going like 2.5 hours.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you can break it up.
Yeah.
What's great about getting something after the fact is you can actually listen to a piece of it, walk away, and then restart where you've left off. That's what sometimes I love about buying things after they've been produced, is
That's right.
then I can go through it in my own time. So that's a benefit, I think.
Yeah, you don't feel like you have to be there live the whole time, or it'd be rude if you left. It's not, first of all, but there's less pressure.
Yes. So so thank you so much for being my first interviewee. And
I'm honored.
I'm interested to see if some people will hop on and get your class. That would be great.
Yeah, you're all welcome. And you can also just join my group. I do free copywriting trainings there every week. I just did one.
Announce what the group is again, Heidi?
Sure.
Group?
Yeah, it's called Funnel Monetization Secrets, Copy, and Community.
Good.
I just did a free training yesterday on Facebook ad copy, so you can always benefit from that stuff, and it's just a fun group.
Great. Okay, well, that's it for our little interview. I don't want to hold people too much longer. And again, thank you, Heidi.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right, bye.
Bye.